A new era has begun in Starkville, Mississippi, and these are my best and worst case scenarios for Mississippi State football in year one of the Jeff Lebby era. Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Phillips of SEC Unfiltered. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. Hit that bell icon as well so you get notifications of when we go live and when we drop new video content, which is each and every single day. Also, guys, check out the podcast, which drops daily: iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us across all social media platforms as well as our website, secunfiltered.com. The following is brought to you by our friends over at MyBookie. Guys, head over to mybookie.ag and use the promo code SECU at sign up to get a 100% deposit match on your first deposit of up to $1,000. Guys, just because March Madness is over does not mean MyBookie doesn't have a ton for you to do and bet on. Guys, they even have a casino. And let me tell you something. I've been spending some time in that casino playing blackjack, playing poker, what have you. Guys, it's a blast. I'm telling you right now, you want to go make some money. There's a lot of value in the casino over at MyBookie, guys. We also have NBA, NFL, MLB. We've got golf, whatever you want, guys. It's there. We got futures. We got props. We got totals. We got spreads. Anything and everything you can think to bet on, they've got it over at MyBookie. So again, go sign up today at mybookie.ag and use the promo code SECU at sign up to get a 100% deposit match on your first deposit of up to $1,000. Guys, bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only at MyBookie. Year one of a new era begins in Starkville, Mississippi, as Jeff Lebby takes over as head coach, begins his tenure there as Bulldogs head coach. Guys, these are my best and worst case scenarios for year one of the Jeff Lebby era in Starkville. And guys, the expectations are very conservative, right? But I think there's a path to a really successful year one for Jeff Lebby. When you look at this schedule, when you look at what's coming back, when you look at the talent on the roster, and yes, I believe there is talent. Now, these are best case and worst case scenarios, guys. These are realistic best case and worst case. So no 12-0, no 0-12. And these are based off of every football team has questions, okay? So do the majority of the questions work out in the positive? Do they work out in the negative? That's what the best and worst case scenarios are based off of. So let's pull up the schedule here. Let's take a look at Mississippi State's schedule in the 2024 season. Now, here's the good news, guys. You have a couple weeks, it looks like, to get things going. I mean, what's crazy to think, guys, I believe the over-under win total in Vegas is 4.5. There's a world where Mississippi State is 4-0 after the first 4 weeks. That game at Arizona State in week 2, that's the tricky one. But you're going to beat Eastern Kentucky. You're going to beat Toledo. If you can beat Arizona State in week 2, all of a sudden, week 4 against Florida, probably a primetime game. Who knows what the Florida Gators are going to be in week 4? Could that be the first big upset of the Jeff Lebby era, right? You've also got UMass later in the year. So that could be 5 wins right there, okay? The schedule's very difficult. Mississippi State, one of the toughest schedules as we start, by the way, guys, with the best case scenario for this 2024 season. You got to go to Texas. You got to go to Georgia. You got to play Texas A&M. You got Arkansas, right? You got Tennessee late in the year at their place. You got Mizzou. You got Ole Miss at their place. It is a very, very, very difficult schedule. But like I mentioned, I think there's enough talent on this state team to surprise. I think Blake Shapen at the quarterback position was one of the underrated pickups. My best case scenario for Mississippi State football in year one of Jeff Lebby, I'm going to go 7-5. And again, this is best case. Okay, this is best case. Everything works out in the positive because there's going to be so many moving pieces in year one of Jeff Lebby's tenure. But in this scenario, you're starting 4-0. You got that 5th win against UMass. Probably that 6th win is against Arkansas the week prior. And then you pull another upset. Say it's Texas A&M at home. Say it's Missouri at home. Say it's at Tennessee. Maybe you win the Egg Bowl and you spoil Ole Miss's season. Again, this is best case. And I know it's lofty in year one for Jeff Lebby, but I think there is a path to 7-5, best case scenario. Again, this is not a prediction. This is best case scenario. So I think in year one, Jeff Lebby, if you can get the ball rolling early, right? Because you're probably not going to win at Texas. You're probably not going to win at Georgia. Difficult stretch with A&M Arkansas. But, I mean, if you can generate some early momentum, and that Florida game in week 4, you can win that one, pull an upset, get the vibes high early in the year. I think there is a path, and not just bowl eligibility, but that 7-5 best case scenario. Now, let's talk worst case scenario. And guys, this is very much in the cards as well, because again, there's a lot of moving pieces. It's year one for a brand new head coach, right? I mean, Mississippi State's roster is not up to par with some of the best teams in the SEC. And like I mentioned, guys, that schedule is a gauntlet, okay? At Arizona State, week 2 is a very tricky non-conference game. At Texas, at Georgia, Texas, A&M, I know it's at home, but they're going to be a good team this year with Mike Elko. At Tennessee, at Ole Miss. I mean, that's one of the toughest road draws, I think, in the entire SEC. I mean, that is absolutely brutal, right? And there's probably going to be some growing pains. There's probably going to be some growing pains with Jeff Lebby and a brand new offense and a new voice on defense for the first time in forever. And the transfer portal certainly impacted this group. My worst case scenario for Mississippi State in 2024, 4-8. And I think 4-8, guys, is very possible. I don't think State's going to go worse than 4-8. Again, that over-under win total in Vegas is 4.5. So Vegas also thinks 4 wins is very much in play. You're going to beat Eastern Kentucky. You're going to beat Toledo. And you're going to beat UMass. That's 3 wins right there. Outside of that, guys, every other game's a toss-up. Really, truly. The only way I see this coming in play, guys, that game against Arizona State in week 2, it's so important. But heck, guys, even if you beat them, like, what SEC game? What SEC game's a kick-in win for State, right? We're talking about Florida. A lot of folks are picking that upset. That's going to be a terribly difficult game, right? I know Arkansas was terrible last year with Bobby Petrino at OC. Like, maybe Arkansas, I would expect them to be better. You get that game at home, but I mean, that's going to be a tough game. Texas A&M is going to be a pretty damn good football team, solid in year one of Mike Elko. That's going to be difficult. I mean, Missouri won 10 games last year, 11 games, excuse me. They're going to be a college football playoff hopeful. And then I mentioned the road games, Texas, Georgia, Tennessee, and Ole Miss. So it is a murderer's row. It is a gauntlet. Could things go sideways? Could there be growing pains? The good news is this for Jeff Lebby. There's really no pressure in year one because you're taking over such a unique situation. But 4-8, worst case scenario. Again, guys, it's not a prediction, but I think certainly this schedule could show its teeth, and 4-8 could be in the cards. So when you look at that Mississippi State schedule, year one of Jeff Lebby, my best and worst case scenarios for the Bulldogs. Best case, I've got 7-5. Worst case, I've got 4-8. Agree, disagree? How do you see things shaking out in year one of the Jeff Lebby era in Starkville? Guys, that's going to do all for me. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. Hit that bell icon as well so you get notifications of when we go live and when we drop new video content, which is each and every single day. Also, guys, check out the podcast, which drops daily: iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us all across social media as well as our website, SECUnfiltered.com. Until next time, guys, I'm Chris Phillips of SEC Unfiltered. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in, and we'll catch you on the other side.